The Gospel of John, the Gospel of John oftentimes gives us a different perspective than does Matthew, Mark, or Luke. Part of the reason for this is that John's Gospel was the last one written, and it avoids simply repeating what was found in Matthew, Mark, and Luke. And it also serves as kind of a correction element, that maybe things were happening in the early church that John's Gospel puts a different emphasis on. And the role of John the Baptist in John the Evangelist's Gospel illustrates this in a dramatic fashion. If you read all of John's Gospel, you would never experience John the Baptist baptizing. He doesn't baptize. They refer to it obliquely in today's passage, where all this took place across the Jordan where John was baptizing. If we just had John's Gospel, we would probably call him John the Witness or John the Testifier, because that's what he does, especially in the piece that we read from this afternoon. I've come to testify to the light. I myself am not the light. I am not the Christ. Because apparently in some communities around shortly after the resurrection, some people would have almost a cult of John the Baptist. In fact, might even put him ahead of Jesus. And so John's Gospel sets the story straight as to what role he really plays. How does this relate to you and me as we hear this gospel proclaimed on the third Sunday of Advent? Well, one thing we could do is understand that you and I are called to testify as well. Not in some formal way, but by the way that we live, we're testifying to the importance of Christ in our life. We need somehow to bring this Christ present to another. Maybe the last 2 weeks of Advent can be a time to give an early Christmas present. Maybe a Christmas present to your spouse or to your parents, your children, your siblings. Maybe we could bring them the forgiveness and compassion of Christ. Maybe there are tensions there that need to be relieved. We could be a witness to the presence of Christ in our own family. Might even take the bold step of telling someone that you love them and let them see that love in your actions. Parents might reach out to their own children in charity and love. The second reading urged us to rejoice in the Lord. Maybe for these last 2 weeks of Advent, we can focus on the good that is in our life, and that we can rejoice in the blessings that are theirs. We have plenty of other weeks to look at the challenges and difficulties in our life. Rejoice is not in the sense of laughing and celebrating, but rejoicing in the fact that God loves you. God loves you so much that he sent his only Son to save us. That's the good news we're preparing to celebrate.